Welcome to Pioneers in Payments, where payments experts share their insights. Now, here's our host, Donna Blum.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Pioneers in Payments. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Kimberly Tibbetts from Endava. Welcome, Kimberly.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
I'm so glad that you are able to join us today. We're really looking forward to gleaning some pearls of wisdom from you. To get us started, though, would you mind sharing a little bit about yourself, your background in the payments industry, and the work that you do at Endava?
Sure. So I've been in the industry 35 plus years. I like to refer to myself as being seasoned. So I've been in the industry a long time. I have done long-term stints at companies like MasterCard, JP Morgan Chase, Chase Payment Tech, and also LL Bean earlier on, where I learned that I truly, truly loved payments. So that's kind of where it all started when I was younger. From an Endava perspective, I actually am an industry principal consultant for Endava. And what that entails is I'm part of a group called Industry Acceleration. So I do anything from being in sales meetings, assisting others that are delivering projects. I also deliver projects myself, do anything from strategy work right down to collecting business requirements and making sure that whatever the client needs, they're getting. And I've been at Endava 5.5 years. Level was acquired by them back in April of 2021. So it was a wonderful acquisition. Transition was great. Really love working for Endava, very much like Level. And so it was a very easy transition for me.
That's great. Well, so the purpose of this video podcast is to really kind of distill everything that's happening in the payments industry today and try to make some sense of it, try to help payments professionals and organizations that process payments identify their path forward based on some really solid advice from payments industry experts. So, what would you say is the most notable trend in the payments industry today?
Well, like myself, I typically can't just pick one. So so I actually have 5, but I want to focus on one. So number 1 is core modernization. So making sure that your core is going to take you into the future, be scalable. The next would be buy now, pay later. Then there's real-time payments. And then there's the cannabis industry, which not many people talk about, but it's something that's up and coming. And I really think there's a lot of opportunity there. But today I'd really like to focus on payment facilitation and the payment facilitator model. It's been around for many years now. The pioneers like Amazon and Square were out there pushing the limits with the payment networks. Getting this model in place. Back then it was known as aggregation, which was a no-no. But today it's becoming mainstream. And we're seeing a lot of service as a software companies like Intuit and Freesa and Mind and Body that are actually embedding payments into their software and creating through osmosis a better user experience, a better payments experience, and they're able to actually create a revenue stream from these types of models. And there's multiple models that you can choose from, but these folks have done it really well. It works well. And they're not only creating a great user experience, they're getting that profitability and revenue as well to offset the cost of card acceptance, which we all know is a big challenge in the industry.
Right. Well, that's wonderful. It sounds like a win-win. It's a win for the customers. It's a win for the PayFac. So that's great. So let's move on to the next question. All kinds of opportunities in the industry today. What would you say is the top opportunity for organizations that process payments?
Core modernization. To me, that is key. Whether you are an acquirer, whether you are a financial institution, it's all about making that investment upfront and making those legacy systems not go away, but become less relevant than they are today. It's one thing to have APIs attached to your core systems, but it's another thing to actually reinvent your core and move that into the future and move it into the cloud. That way you have more scalability, you're flexible, your go-to-market is quicker with new products. You're able to collect good data, which is important.
Right.
Good data in, good data out. And with analytics today and, marketing to the right customers and the right audience, it's extremely important. You want to have that seamless user experience, whether it's for your customers, if you're in banking, or if it's for your merchants, if you're in actual merchant acquiring. So, that's extremely important when you're looking at, making that investment. And that's the other thing. A lot of people don't want to make that investment. It's a big investment,
right,
to do that. And there's ways around that by partnering with people, but not all partners can provide you with what you need in order to get you to where you're going. So it's important to be able to pick the right partners, make the right decisions. You're not going to get a return on your investment right away. Mm-hmm. So you have to be patient. And a lot of times we see so many clients, they're so gung-ho. It's like, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. They're a year into it. Something changes, whether it be, financially, or there's a new shiny object that they want to pursue.
Right.
But it's so important for people to stick to their guns and be able to finish out modernizing their core. Mm-hmm. And by doing that, you're just going to help yourself in the future. You're going to make your clients or your user experience better. Everything is going to be better all around. It's just about having the patience and seeing it through and making sure that you have the resources in order to do it and picking the right partners.
Right. That's great advice. Ultimately, they need to make a decision to move forward, to modernize, and to stay the course, right?
Yes, exactly. And so many times that does not happen. Mm-hmm. And everybody's saying, well, we'll do phase 1 now, we'll do phase 2, phase 3. Well, phase 3 never happens. And so it's about staying the course, as you said.
Right. Well, I know that these are uncertain economic times. None of us know exactly what the future holds for the economy, but we do have to sort of, like, when you're investing personally, you are investing for the long term, right? So yes. I think perhaps that we need to have the same view here. Organizations who don't modernize may not be relevant in the future. So, very good advice. So what would you say is the biggest challenge? And perhaps we've already touched on it here.
Yeah, and it is making sure that you do modernize your core. And it will just lead to better opportunities for your company moving forward. Mm-hmm. And it is extremely key. I cannot tell you the number of clients that I have dealt with over the years that have, embarked upon this and spent millions, literally millions of dollars doing what they thought was right, when if there would have been pre-planning up front and a roadmap and a really clear, which a lot of people thought they had it, but they didn't involve all the stakeholders within the company that had an impact on this. So they were continuously trying to solve issues internally, whereby that could have been avoided earlier on if they would have had everybody on board. So it's not just about a technology stack, it's about, you know, the operational side of things, the business side of things, the legal side of things, compliance. There's so many stakeholders that need to be involved in the process along the way. And it's so important that that is done ahead of time, or you end up throwing away a technology that you've invested in that you're not going to be using, and you fall back on your old legacy core.
Right.
And you may, you know, have APIs that you're calling out, you know, to your legacy systems, which we know is not working. You know, it does to a certain point, but it's not going to take you to where you want to go in the future and allow you to be competitive in the marketplace.
Right. Yeah. I totally agree with that. So some of these questions tend to maybe bring up some of the same thoughts, but if we were to leave our audience with one silver bullet piece of advice, what would that be?
I would, and I just kind of touched on it, is that if you're going to embark upon, and this would be anything within the payments realm, the ecosystem, that you need to involve the right people up front. And you need to be able to articulate what your needs are, identify what the pain points are. You need to listen to what's going on. If somebody comes in, a CEO, CTO comes in and says, we need to get this done in 6 months, you need to be able to say, okay, why is it that we need to do this? And be able to feel comfortable challenging that, because that's going to save a lot of angst down the road. And a lot of people don't do that. And it needs to be done in order for the business to be successful moving forward.
Right. It's kind of that do it right the first time mentality. You got to make sure that you have a solid plan before you implement. So, you know, do take the extra time up front to make sure you're going to experience success in the long run. I would imagine that Endava provides some services that can help clients or payments processing organizations that are just beginning this process to help them perhaps avoid some of the pitfalls and to employ best practices that have been used from other organizations that have already gone through this process. Would you like to share a little bit about Endava and how our audience can learn more about your services?
Sure. So just, you know, right out of the gate, if you want to learn more about Endava, just go to www.endava.com. There is a plethora of information out there. We do a lot of white papers. We do a lot of educational sessions for clients or non-clients, just information. But, you know, we have over 13,000 employees worldwide within 26 countries. We're close to client. We're not the type of organization that will actually, like, if you want a strategy document, we won't write the strategy document and throw it over the fence to you and say, here you go. We'll help you along the way, and we'll help you even to the point where we will build it for you. We are mainly an IT company, but we have a group of subject matter experts from all over the industries, from any vertical you can think of, and we have lived it. It's not like we've learned it. We've lived it. We've been through the pain before, And so, we're able to help in those types of situations where we can take a look at, say, an MVP and say, have you thought about including this? Have you thought about including that? Do you want to be successful out of the gate? This is what we've seen to be proven. And a lot of the work that I do, it has a lot to do with that. But it's definitely an end-to-end. It's not just, it can be an end-to-end. Obviously we do, we can come in when companies unfortunately have done things that they wish they wouldn't have done. And we can help right the ship and get them going in the right direction. But yes, go to Endava.com and you'll learn a tremendous amount about what we do.
Okay. And you're also on LinkedIn, so people could probably reach out to you there as well.
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn under, of course, if you search Endava, but I'm under Kimberly Tibbetts on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So definitely, reach out to me if you're interested. And I love talking payments, so I could talk for hours about it.
Well, that's great. And I appreciate you talking about payments here on our podcast. I just want to thank you so much for your time today, Kimberly. I appreciate the advice that you've shared with our audience. I know that they're going to appreciate it too. And I just want to thank everybody for watching today. Bye now.
Bye. Thank you.